You know, I really feel like Sam is digging his own grave every time he talks to you guys.
Yep.
It's like if he just ignored it and didn't say anything, we probably wouldn't have done it. But now it's just become like a focal point every single time we watch Team Liquid play that we just have to just light him up.
But you know how he's like, dude, did you watch how well I played?
Dude, did you see this game?
Yeah, it was amazing.
I did amazing. Man, Elder Titan's so overpowered, and guess what?
It's
banned.
Let's put him against S4. By the way, someone is probably listening to me in production. I really need the cable for this because I'm running out of battery and I will die.
Bruno needs battery cable, please.
Yes. If you die in game, you die in real life.
This will die in middle of the draft. So
I can see Milton running to get the cable.
See how Bulba sucks?
You know, Koro was doing that earlier. He was just doing like the fist pump and like running by back and forth.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
It was
look
awesome.
At this. Milton, if we need to cut to a commercial, who's going to do it?
Milton.
Yeah, but we don't have to cut to a commercial.
He does everything around here.
He is amazing.
He is the one-man show carrier.
Oh, no, he says he doesn't do anything. So.
Okay.
Well, at least he's modest, too.
I can believe that. We worked with him for 3 weeks, and I can concur. Right, explain the Garfield and Goosen thing to me, because I have no idea.
Well, Goosen is Nazgul, and he's like the equivalent of Alex Garfield, who is the owner of EG.
Roger
he also
that.
was a StarCraft Brood War player.
Yes, he was.
He was decent.
Yeah, so anyone who didn't get that reference, that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Right. But Nature's Prophet here picked up by Alliance, so Bulldog gets one of his signature heroes, and then Timbersaw Visage straight away coming out from Team Liquid. And I quite like the Timbersaw as a rebuttal to Nature's Prophet, because whenever you put him in a 1v1, Stout Shield and Reactive Armor basically negate treants entirely, and you can get solo kills pretty reliably as a Timbersaw on a Nature's Prophet, and just in general, that matchup goes pretty favorably for him. So
do you think as well Visage and Timbersaw is good because, and correct me if I'm wrong here, right? It may well be. Visage lowers your armor, and Timbersaw does pure damage, so you do an insane amount of damage to people if you pair Visage and Timbersaw together in a fight.
Well, you're kind of right, but it's not necessarily because of the fact that there's minus armor.
Okay.
Pure damage doesn't care about anything. It doesn't care about magic resistance, doesn't care about armor.
It doesn't do more if they have no armor.
Right. If it says it does 300 damage, then it always does 300 damage. There's nothing you can do to modify it at all. But you're right about the fact that they do a huge chunk of damage together, because Timbersaw's burst is so high that Visage gets so many soul assumption charges straight away that you can just follow it up and do a crazy amount of DPS.
Roger that.
And since he doesn't have to put himself in harm's way, Visage has 1375 range on soul assumption, which is insane.
Yeah, that is insane.
It's like almost a screen away.
Screen. Yeah,
yes. It's very, very long. So it's not necessarily about how they synergize, other than the fact that they just hit really freaking hard.
Wow.
Turn to ban.
Now, I kind of see right now Alliance, and I see similarities with their past lineup. They have the Nature's Prophet. Did they have the... No, they didn't have the Maven. They had the Enchantress.
Yes.
On Aki.
10 seconds
let's hope they don't go for the Juggernaut. I guess Team Liquid will not be banning the
5
Juggernaut hero.
I think they'd be happy to play against it, to be honest. That's how I feel, because you already have two heroes that are pretty immobile, and against Timbersaw and Visage, they're going to get eaten alive. That's the one kind of quarrel I have with picking CM into Visage, is that you become a liability very soon into the game, and if you don't get ahead early, then it becomes a lot more difficult playing that role, especially as a CM, even though allegedly now they get a bit more farm because you can just Frostbite jungle. But we don't know if Alliance are going defensive tri-lane just yet. We've only seen 2 heroes, so we can only really speculate that point. But I still kind of favor Liquid's front too. They need something besides just Timbersaw to deal with split push, because he's the only wave pusher right now, and you kind of want 2 minimum against Nature's Prophet, just so you don't really get rat doted down, which Alliance is very good at. So we'll see.
Question for you. We see Alliance banning. I really like the second banning phase, because the first one is more like, I don't like these heroes. Like, I don't like to play against them. The second, there's normally some logic towards that. And I try to like and guess what the logic was. So when I see Alliance banning Lich and Naga Siren, why would you ban these heroes? Would you ban these heroes in particular?
I think the Naga ban is warranted, because they do synergize quite well with Visage and Timbersaw. It's very easy to set up a kill if you land Anon Snare on anyone, and plus Song is great counter initiation, and those are the things that you don't want to have when you're playing a Prophet, because his whole spiel is getting map control, getting some tier 1 towers, and then split pushing. But it's very easy to catch him out with a lineup that Team Liquid have already, just by having familiars, and then if you partner that with Song, you're giving Team Liquid the capability of taking the perfect team fight, which if Furion doesn't get his first tier 1s, he really doesn't do anything at all. That's something that people seem to forget pretty often, is that if you have 2 lanes that aren't winning and 1 lane that is winning, you have to emphasize the 1 winning lane to make sure that you get a tower, because that's when you can start kind of snowballing the hero. But if that doesn't happen, then he doesn't really do much. So I think taking away the Naga Siren takes away a lot of lane presence potential coming in from a Visage Naga support. That combo in itself is ridiculously strong. And plus, it's ambiguous, because you can do anything you want with it. You don't have to necessarily say, oh yeah, this is defensive, or oh yeah, this is aggressive.
Right.
Clock. Team Mechanical.
To pick.
I still like this, though, because Timbersaw, you don't typically want to put a lot of melee heroes with the Clockwork, because cogs are almost as disruptive for your own team if it's a melee hero as it can be for your enemies. But it's okay here because of Timbersaw's sheer mobility. You can just chakram into it. And you have Visage, who already is like an artillery cannon. You just put him in the back and he kills people. So nice synergy there.
Somebody in the cogs and murder them.
Yeah.
Question for you, Andy, again. I feel like I'm taking a test, or you're taking a test right now.
Okay. How am I doing so far?
You're doing pretty well, sir.
Pretty well, okay.
But don't get overconfident.
All right. I'm going to keep myself in check. I'm ready for the next question.
That's good. So Clockwork is one of these amazing offlaners that like do very well against most lineups. What's Clockwork's nightmare in terms of like what kind of lane he can be like, well, I really can't do much here?
It's actually funny because 1 versus 1, Prophets typically beat Clockworks pretty hard, but it's not necessarily because of the hero matchup, it's because of how they function in the team. We've seen it actually a couple of times during the league so far, where you have a Nature's Prophet who in lane edges out the Clockwork and CS a bit, and we typically see them go phase boots into Midas, into Shadowblade or something like that, right? The item progression usually stays static. So it's not necessarily about the dynamic of the exact lane, but Prophet does still beat Clockwork. And then during the mid game, I feel as though a Nature's Prophet can apply a lot more pressure to the map than a Clockwork can, whereas Clockwork has more of a solidified, okay, I need to hunt a specific hero and I need to force fights. I think in terms of execution, Nature's Prophet is a bit easier to run. So in that sense, I would actually give Alliance a little bit of an advantage.
Okay. That's pretty good. Now, how about you, Pyrian? I know you're the clock expert these days.
It's true.
Well, Andy's seen my clock, and well, you know, and more besides. So.
Why am I having problems again with Nature's Prophet? This is the second time today. Damn.
He apparently doesn't win very much.
No, it doesn't. And again, I kind of have a problem with that specific hero. Must be the apostrophe.
It must be.
But to be honest, I was playing Dota today instead of fixing.
I like Clock a lot. I personally hate playing against anyone with any kind of silence, like Drow or something like that. Always is bad.
You mean a silence?
Indeed, because you get silenced, you can't cogs, you can't do anything, and she can sort of kite you, slow you, and everything. It was I don't like that very much. But other than that, really, he's pretty awesome. It's hard to kill. He can use the hook to escape if you need to. He's great. I absolutely love him. I went months with never playing him, and then just fell in love with the guy.
Look at it go.
Oh.
Now, if Team Liquid wins, you know what we have to be like, right?
Yep.
Why didn't you look at it go?
Why didn't you look at it go?
Witch Doctor.
We're just going to have that picture pulled up, see if the production can handle that. Just at the end of the game, when the throne explodes, just full screen. Why didn't you look at it go?
Why didn't you look at it go?
Now, that's a hero I haven't played much of. I think I've played him twice.
You should play him more.
I think
I should. He does seem fun.
He's been viable for quite a long time.
Quite a long time.
In my opinion. Ever since they buffed Maledict range, that was the biggest problem with the hero, because you have to get so close to Maledict somebody, and you're standing like right in their face. You don't have much armor. Your HP gain is decent, but it's not great. And then you're like, oh, I'm just going to die now.
Also, that Maledict and Cogs goes together like crazy good.
Well, not even just Maledict, but Death Ward as well. If you have a decent cog in a lane, if you figure you're standing smack dab in the middle of a lane, right, and you cog, it essentially blocks the entire lane. There's no way you can realistically go on anyone. And who the heck's going to blink a Bat Rider onto a Witch Doctor for initiation?
Also, it's like we saw in one of the games earlier in the league where he would stand behind the Darkseer wall and use his ult. And give him. It's like building a sandbags for Witch Doctor to hide in. Give him a foxhole.
Would you say Witch Doctor is a situational pick, Andy? Looking at the screen right there.
Maybe situational.
What the hell?
But the thing is this: Witch Doctor actually has one of the highest base damages for any support. His lane presence is quite strong.
His attack animation is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He has an amazing stun, arguably like the best stun in the game. That's not an ultimate.
People would say it's probably also the worst stun in the game.
Well, here's the thing. If you hook somebody or you're against somebody that has a Bat Rider, and say the Bat Rider has Blink Force Staff, you have right now on Team Liquid 3 heroes who can counter initiate on him super easy. So in this case, I think it's quite good. And if you ever catch more than one person in cogs, all of a sudden Cask becomes like god tier. Those heroes just don't move ever, right? Yeah. And yeah, of course, it's all saying if these specific instances happen, but realistically in a game, you're only going to be taking so many fights around creep waves, right? So when people start like smoke ganking into the woods and they start taking fights once towers are dead, you're going to see a lot of really good cast stuns. It just kind of happens. And then Medusa for the last pick on Team Liquid, that's like one of the hardest of hard carries just because of mana shield and split shot. I think this is actually quite strong.
And this is my question right now. Does any of this team go offensive try? Because I think both teams have the potential. When you have a Crystal Maiden and an Alchemist, you have 3 stuns right there, plus the acid and whatever they're going to pick last.
I think they could go aggressive if you're Liquid.
And Liquid can also go aggressive. But at the same time, you're putting Clock against Nature's Prophet, and we know how that ends.
Yeah, it's bad for the Clockwork, but if you hold the Alchemist down, since you don't get that bonus HP from Chemical Rage anymore, it's going to be really difficult to kind of sustain the damage.
I was actually about to say Weaver.
Yeah, support Alchemist.
Support Alchemist, okay.
I like that a lot better than a carry Alchemist.
Or
I think Alliance were just testing the waters to see what Liquid would go for, but then maybe they anticipate the aggressive lane coming out and say, it's not worth trying to farm that particular hero against these heroes. Although I'm not entirely sure if Weaver is going to do that much better. I actually think mid-game, Team Liquid have a very good team for dealing with a Weaver.
Especially if they can lock him down with all this stuff. Look at all those spells.
I think what they end up resorting to is trying to get some tier 1 pushes and then just split push the whole game. Like I don't think they ever want to take a full engagement against Liquid's lineup.
I would actually like to see maybe Medusa in the safe lane, Clock in the hard lane, and B-Sage and Witch Doctor more like in a rotating way, because if you get the Bat Rider playing offensively, you can kill him with those 2 guys. You can probably get kills on the Nature's Prophet very easily as well, and Clockwork will do more or less fine in that top lane. So I guess we'll have to see, but this looks to me like a really, really nice draft for Liquid.
Do you think also the fact that Weaver won't want to fight until quite late in the game means that this even more favors Liquid's lineup, because they can go roaming around, picking people off, trapping people in cogs, getting them with, you know, Timbersaw ganks and stuff like that while Medusa farms? Do you think that's...
I think the later the game goes, it actually becomes about a 50-50 split and who can actually take the game. It's 2 different times the game plans, and speaking of game, we are inside now.
We are indeed.
The game.
We have paused,
so,
but
yeah,
we are
it's paused again. It's actually been paused twice, but yeah, we're inside the game, and Admiral Bulldog is going to reconnect, so should be good to go. I just feel as though when you get to around 25-30 minutes, we often talk about how Weaver has a hard time fighting early because, well, he needs like 1 or 2 items. But if he gets there, if Liquid don't just 5-man death ball Alliance down by that point in the game, between Admiral Bulldog and a Weaver, they can realistically only hold down one of them.
Right.
So other than that, it's like you're going to have this hero that you can pick off, but then you're going to have another one. So it's like that old saying that we used to have is you can only stop one of us from getting what we want.
Okay.
So we're going to hop in the game now, even though it's the 3rd time that I said that.
Yes. Hopping game.
You know what? I love everyone backstage. It's fine.
They're great guys.
You want to hop?
They've been drinking since midday, but they're okay.
Well, yeah, you can.
You
can hear pretty clearly, actually. I don't know if it's like your shirt or...
I don't know, but something
is loud.
It's our Movember stubble.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm calling it right now. Liquid defensively tri-lane, because we kept saying that they always do aggressive lanes. So now they're trying to like mind game. Sam is feeding us false information just so they do something different and they can catch the other team off guard.
Yep. How's Sam's Timbersaw? Do you like it?
I actually haven't seen him play it that much.
Me neither.
We saw it earlier in the tournament.
He usually plays things like Bat Rider.
Yep.
Now
X4 has a Bat Rider.
But it's quick for his Timbersaw.
Quick for Timbersaw, indeed. And I think his Timbersaw is actually quite good.
Yeah, he is. Bulba's Clock is pretty decent.
Yeah, he was actually known for Clockwork. Or still is known, I should say. It's not like past tense. He's still just known as a very, very solid Clockwork.
His TI3 Clock was pretty legendary.
Can Bat Rider even kill Clockwork before level 6?
I don't think so.
No.
I think you have to go AFK for the Bat Rider to kill you in that lane. Because even though you could technically fly over the cogs, you're still going to get knocked back once. And if you try to dive under a tower with that and battery assault, you're asking for a really bad situation. But I'm expecting S4 still wins the lane because it is a Bat Rider versus a melee. And that's still not really a good time for any melee hero.
Nope, but he does get the first last hit, so he wins the game.
Yeah. He won the game. Congratulations, Sam.
I would like to see a statistic on that.
Who got the
top lane.
I like
EGM
that.
coming in from the side. Nova on the way to. Concoction's going to follow it up, and this looks to be the first blood. Way to. He tries to salve. Oh, wow. The last auto attack from EGM. He cancels his auto attack, and the first blood's not going to go the way of Alliance.
Wow.
He was like mid-punch, and he stopped.
Yep.
Wow.
Maybe he just had mercy.
I really like the fact that they give EGM the Alchemist. He really likes to farm anyways. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes second pointing Gribble's Grid and just goes to the jungle.
There's no way.
Gets money.
That would be something.
Even 1 point into Acid Spray is crazy strong because it's -3 armor.
Yep.
So my question was going to be, I would like to see the stats on things like how often First Blood translates into a win, the win rates for tri-lanes against, you know, defensive tri-lanes against aggressive tri-lanes, all that kind of stuff. There must be a way of doing that statistically, but you'd have to look at the game.
Unfortunately, one of the biggest problems with, not the First Blood problem, actually the First Blood problem was done, and it was pretty statistically irrelevant. Like there's a little bit of an advantage, but not much.
Okay.
On the other side, Koiba, have to be careful.
I think he'll be okay. It's going to be Vision. Concoction does a bit of damage, but he has a Stout Shield and reactive armor, so no way they can kill him here.
But the thing with the laning is there's no information on laning in the replays. Like you have to
manually watch it.
No, not manually watch it, but you have to just like check with the position of the heroes, because nothing says what lane you are, because you can probably roam and do some other stuff. So you have to kind of reliably, by getting the position of the heroes, knowing which lane they are in.
Way2's grabbed an Invis rune here, by the way, and he's crept up on them. Do you think is he just going to leech XP, or do you think they're going to try and go on EGM?
I don't think they can go on them.
Well, EGM's at half health. The only problem is the Timbersaw needs secondary nuke if they even want a chance at killing him. But they do have level 1 Soul Assumption. If they go for this, it's risky because you probably lose Way2 in the process, and you just go 1 for 1. But if Liquid get the first blood, I think it still would have been worth it. But EGM, he eats a tango, so he's going to be at a higher threshold of HP anyway.
Am I misreading, or do Quakefoot take stats here for level 3?
He just hasn't put a point in.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't? Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, sometimes you hold your point because you want to know if you need the extra point in the Timber Chain for the range, or if you want to get Whirling Death for the extra burst.
I just couldn't figure out where, because I'm so used to seeing a little level up.
Or a second point in reactive armor, maybe.
Nah, you don't go to reactive armor in that lane.
Sorry, I need to interrupt you here, but Volva loses that lane. Check the CS.
He's owning, actually. I was going to say that at some point because I feel like it's warranted to give him praise when he actually does well, because I feel like we have kind of bashed him a bit. Yeah. And we all love Sam.
I don't think you could. I don't think you could bash him if you didn't also love him.
That's true. It's like a love hate thing.
You don't go attacking.
It's like making fun of a friend, you know.
Exactly. And he's a friendly person.
He is. I like Sam.
Like him and Mike, probably two of the naturally friendliest characters, and Mike isn't playing anymore, unfortunately.
That's like a travesty, by the way.
What?
Bring back IX Mike.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Please.
He's such a funny guy. He's got the IX Mike in-house league going though, right?
He plays there.
Yeah. My friend Honk plays with him, I think. Or plays in the league.
How does he do?
She. She's worse than I am. She's terrible.
Okay.
But she loves the game. She'd hate me saying that. She always blames ping issues because she's in New Zealand, but bless her. Actually, she's probably not worse than me. She's about the same.
Fair enough.
She might even
At least you admit it.
She might even take that as an insult.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, he jam stuns himself in the top lane. Unfortunate.
Way2 rotated bottom, and now they're going to try and make something happen with the Witch Doctor, which is kind of like soaring through mid. I don't think... I just can't see any lane getting a first blood unless anyone makes a huge mistake.
No, I would agree. And honestly, I think that kind of favors Alliance because the later the game goes, I think split pushing is a lot easier to do than just committing to a 5-man push and not making an execution error. You know what I mean? It's like if you mess up and you have a bad engagement, then the 5-man strategy kind of falls apart. But Alliance are always going to have the advantage of saying, hey, we don't really have to fight if we don't want to. We just have to not get picked like 30 times in a row. Yep. Which they're very good at doing.
And at the same time, like even if the split push is really good, you have a Medusa for late game. And they have a Weaver, which Weaver, don't get me wrong, it's a decent hero.
Not a Medusa, though.
Not a Medusa.
Can I ask why does Medusa, given the benefit of having all that mana for Mana Shield, why not get Mana Boots?
Because it's a carry hero, and
you want to right click.
Yeah, you want to click people. You don't need the mana boots either, because every other item that she makes, aside from the early game, gives her stats.
Okay.
Because stats give her, I want to say, like 3 times the effectiveness in terms of effective HP of any other hero because of mana shield.
Right.
So you'll see a lot of things like Drums or Scotty or Manta, because they all give pure stats.
Okay.
Lincoln's even.
Yeah, Lincoln's as well. I think Lincoln's is actually a really solid choice this game.
Yep. You
Just
can't get lassoed.
Yeah, you can't get lasso, Frostbite.
Alchemist stun.
It does block Nature's Prophet ulti as well, so there's like a couple of ways to eat it, but they're all good spells to stop him. Yeah, EGM coming in from the side, wants to walk to the high ground to land the stun. Will be able to do so. Yeah, he's not going to go for the kill though.
Fluffy's taking more damage just by standing there than heal.
He wanted to heal, man.
He's the heal.
This is a pretty cautious game so far.
I remember this a long time ago. Witch Doctor used to be played as kind of like a mid lane. I try to help you kind of pick, and didn't do anything. Just like this game, but
the thing is, if you're gonna roam a Witch Doctor, I feel as though if you're level 3, you should have 2 points into Maledict and 1 point into Cask. Let's consider that Liquid dodged the tri-lane, right?
Yep.
Why the heck do you need Voodoo Restoration if you're not going to be laning versus anyone?
Because you're jungling. You're a jungling Witch Doctor.
But if you're... I just can't. I can't back it, man. I'm sorry. I just feel like 1 Cask, 2 points into Maledict, Sam lands a hook shot, that hero dies, even if it's a Vat Rider, because you take so much damage after the fact. Like when we saw Dendi getting absolutely destroyed that one game where he was against a Witch Doctor roaming support, that's exactly what they did. Because they know that you're only going to have 2 or 3 seconds to front load as much damage as possible before the hero uses escape. And if you can get the Maledict off and do all the damage, then you can't live through it.
But didn't they have like lots of damage over time that game, like a Venomancer or something like that? I remember that Witch Doctor was good in that game.
I think it was actually Avenge. I think it was Avenge Witch Doctor support.
Can I ask if maybe he's doing it so that he's sort of loitering in this area and he can go and help Sam if Sam needs help mid, or when he can go help bot if bot needs help? He's just sort of on the scene. Do you know what I mean? Like, does he put him in the jungle so he's just there? He can just mosey over if needs be.
He's jungling. Like, he really is jungling. He's level 4, just pretty much out of that. Jungling Witch Doctor new meta. Who knows?
He's doing okay.
Doubt it. Rune secured.
Unfortunately for S4. However, he's still full life and full mana, so he really doesn't need much, and he's about 1,000 gold away from that Blink Dagger, which normally, if you are having a good game as a Bat Rider, you should get it maybe in a minute. But he's not going to get 1,000 gold in a minute.
I don't think so, unless he has some serious gold hacks or something like that. But it is important to note that Sam has done exceptional in this matchup.
Yep.
And he's already got Shreds and a Bracer, so good luck ever killing this Clockwork.
He's the tank.
The question is, though, well, Lasso, they're going to go on him. EGM is behind the tower. They really want to do this. Oh, he doesn't get the cog off in time. They are going to be able to take him down.
Good luck.
The first blood. That was perfect execution, though, I have to say. Because if that flame break didn't knock him back like that and he gets the cogs off, then there was a good chance they wouldn't have had enough follow-up damage. But even as tanky as he was, he still ends up going down. Alliance ganking by far the hardest hero to kill on the side of Liquid and succeeding. Yeah,
but now Way2 comes there, so he gets a little bit of experience. And also TC has been, I will not say destroying the Nature's Prophet, because the Nature's Prophet has been getting, but he's 19 and 6.
Yeah.
And TC is 62 and 20, 9 minutes 20 into the game. Yes, I always say this, there's also the feed of the Treants, but it's still lots of farm. And the Nature's Prophet, normally at this stage of the game, he tends to get a little bit better than this.
I've just realized how quick Witch Doctor is. With the boost now, he's got move speed of 355. He
he's
can
barely above average move speed. He's 305.
Compared to the rest of the guys.
Boy, compared to like a CM,
he's quicker than Timbersaw.
Really fast.
He's quicker than Bulba. No, she's not quicker than Bulba.
Oh. I thought I heard something, but
it was a chakram. I heard it too. It was really strange.
That's a blink dagger.
Well, now it's a blink dagger. Yeah, with the first blood, it kind of helps.
A little bit.
A little bit. Loda, he went for a hand of money. Do you approve?
I think if you're going for the long split push game, it's fine, as long as you play really careful and you don't give yourself away for free, because the biggest issue is 600 HP on a Weaver against Liquid's lineup. You can just die in a stun.
Yep.
I get with that kind of HP, but it all depends on your game plan. I think if they just split push and they don't really take any real engagements, then it's okay. But if he gets caught a few times and it could be rough, he is going to get cogged here, but inside is Ake, who ends up dropping in the top lane. Bulbo's rotation success. And Fluff dies in the meantime.
Yeah, S4 jumps on Witch Doctor, who was trying to find the mid lane. Lasso into that. It's kind of a win, but at the same time, you just use your first lasso and blink on a support. So...
Well, a kill's a kill.
A kill's a kill, but if you can get a kill on TC, it's maybe better. Hand of money again for the Nature's Prophet.
What about the fact they've just left TC down here with complete free farm?
Again, it's two different game plans. So for Alliance, they could kill TC, even with 3 points and a mana shield, because he only has 600 health. He went phase boots. It's going to be a while before he has enough sustain to really stop the aggression coming out from their team. However, it's fine if the Medusa has a lot of farm if you never let them take an engagement. The whole idea of a split push is that you force lane equilibrium so heavily in your favor that the other team can't justify pushing his 5 because they're going to lose 2 towers while you only get 1. So if their goal is to do that, then they don't necessarily have to stop TC. They just have to stick to their game plan and make sure that they execute it properly.
Well, TC is going to have a ridiculously fast Lincolns.
I agree, yes.
Do you think that at that point Liquid should say, right, it's go time and just fight?
Well, that's kind of what I figured they are going to do, especially once the Visage hits level 6 and the Witch Doctor, because Death Ward is pure damage, so it actually does damage to people who are frozen by Medusa ulti. If that ever happens, heroes are just going to explode, and he is one of the few Medusas I've ever seen who actually maxes Mystic Snake, so thank you for that, TC. Meanwhile, middle, wait, oh my goodness, that concoction.
Oh my days.
Rest in pieces.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for supports right here. If they get the jump, they will get killed. And S4 is happy with this arrangement. He's like, well, as soon as people get in my lasso range, I'm going to get kills. I don't care about the rest of the team, but I know that if Bat Rider is going to have a good game, then probably we will have enough of an advantage to justify TC getting free farm.
It strikes me that support Alk is ridiculously good.
Like, oh yeah, people have run it quite often, actually.
I mean, I have seen it, but because he could even transition in the later game into like extra beef.
Yep.
Ridiculous. But yeah, so why don't more people do that? What's wrong with it?
Well, it's not necessarily that there's anything wrong with it. It's that he's a support who doesn't have any fallback mechanism. He has to be in a lane where you can potentially go for kills, which he's gotten a few of right now. He's been involved in every single kill on the side of Alliance, including a kill that he got credit for. But he's not like a CM who can go jungle or anything like that. So to an extent, you want to roam him pretty frequently. And the reason that you pick a support like that in this situation is because you know that Liquid aren't committing a lot to top, which means the supports can actually move around.
Why can't he go jungle? Because I sometimes do that when I play as
well, he can now, but at the beginning of the game, he can't.
Okay, yeah.
Like, we're talking solely about the laning phase. Of course, with Chemical Rage and Spray, he can now, but in the beginning...
early few levels.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, at the same time, even though he's kind of tanky, he's still melee, so he needs to kind of be in the action. He can throw the stun, but then he has to walk next to you, and he's... Oh, nice last hit. His armor is pretty mediocre, not to say bad.
Yeah. If he's not using Chemical Rage, he's actually pretty flimsy, isn't he?
Oh, Bulba.
Sam.
S4 goes in. He actually gets knocked back and cast at the same time. There's some familiars here. Double concoction coming out, though. TC pops the defensive Medusa ulti, Stone Gaze, and everyone's kind of just going to run.
Yep.
But Alliance might be able to get this tower. I think there's going to be a deny attempt.
There should be, I think.
Maybe. No, everyone from Liquid's kind of just like, we don't feel safe walking up to this tower because S4 has not used Lasso yet, and Loda gets the tower kill.
Yep. And so it's 1 tower each, 3-1 the kills. Admiral Bulldog now gets a little bit of breathing room, and now we see him soaring to that 3rd place in farm. And that will be kind of the case.
Well, he is getting caught out here by Bulba, though, in bottom lane. Sprout's going to fly, and that did not really do him a whole lot of good, unfortunately. I think he was trying to push himself out of the cogs with Sprout, yeah, because you can do that. It's just a bit tricky.
Or at least push Bulba out. Like, if you push one of the two, you're kind of okay.
Success, yes.
But, yeah, it's 1 in 10 kind of chance. So right now, we talked about how scary the Medusa is in the late game, especially, and they are rotating her back to farm bottom lane. She has the recipe. She only needs 600 more gold, and she will have the first Lincoln, and that will become pretty scary. However, the Weaver and the Nature's Prophet, as you said, are also really strong in terms of pushing and split pushing in particular. How does the rest of the lineup come into play? And let's talk about the supports. As the game goes by, you have a Witch Doctor and a Visage, and on the other side you have an Alchemist and a Crystal Maiden. Do you see anything happening in terms of who's going to be strongest?
Well, that's kind of the downfall of Liquid, is that their supports really need the rest of the team. A Visage isn't really going to get a solo kill on any hero but another support, and Alliance are not going to be putting their supports in vulnerable positions because you just don't do that as a split push style. And the nice thing about having a CM is the CM can go jungle whenever you want. Witch Doctor can kind of do the same thing, but I feel as though Liquid's team actually still needs quite a bit of farm, because they have a Medusa, of course, and you really want your Timbersaw and your Clockwork to both be relatively tanky. So I don't feel like Liquid can get away with farming their supports as much, but Initiation on top lane. Quickly, he's going to get lassoed. Blinken.
He's gone.
Yeah, okay. Splat. Freezing Field was even there from Ake, and he gets the kill with it. But as far as the supports go, I would say that because of Alliance's game plan, their supports are probably going to function a bit better.
It's insane the amount of damage that you can do with a full charge concoction when you have Medallion.
Yeah.
It's
well,
terrible.
it's -5 from spray and -6 from Medallion, so it's 11 without spray even max. And concoction does what? Yeah, 360 max damage.
So it's probably something like 500.
Oh, hook shot, double damage activated on Bulba. He wants to go on EGM. He just pops the ulti and gets flame broken out. Boop, but he dies.
Oh, that was nice.
Well, he got to throw this time.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
They give him money. Isn't like I hate when that happens. You throw the bugs and the bugs are like, hey, free money.
Lotus just like, here, take my babies.
They look a bit like a sock full of coins.
Yep. So, oh no, I thought they were from different.
That's the Lincolns now, by the way, on TC. You did say
TC has the Lincoln. Yeah.
By the way, I want to mention this.
Go on.
TC is only going to be about a minute faster on his Lincolns than Loda was, and Loda built a full Midas and Treads before he went for Lincolns. So in terms of overall farm, even though TC is a bit ahead on the CS, because of the fact that there is a little bit of a advantage on Midas timing on Loda, he's going to continue to get farther ahead.
He has 800 more net worth, to be specific.
The thing is that I still think that if you 6-slot a Weaver and you 6-slot a Medusa, the Medusa still beats the Weaver.
Oh, of course. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying that because of the way that Alliance are playing it, they're not going to try to ever fight the Weaver versus the Medusa unless Liquid make a mistake. Right. That's the only time where that engagement would ever happen. They're just going to be like, yep, our Weaver's going to have Lincoln's, Deso, Midas at like 25 minutes in, and he's just going to be an annoyance. That's really all he needs to do. If he wants to play super safe, he can go for a BKB, but I feel like that's going to make his push a bit slower to the point where Liquid can actually punish it. So we'll see.
So what can Liquid do now? I mean, given Alliance's game plan, and you know that they're going to be able to do it because they're great at split pushing, what could they do?
Well, they have to force engagements. And
just fight.
Yeah, that kind of starts by taking the tier 1s. You don't want the tier 1 safe lane and middle lane up when you're playing against a Prophet, because the more room that the Prophet has to work, the better. And you've already lost to tier 1 yourself. Both teams have effectively traded their offlane tier 1s, which don't mean a whole lot. But whoever gets the mid tower and the safe lane first typically has this 5 or 10 minutes of map control superiority, so they can just do pretty much whatever they want. And that's why Alliance are smoked around mid.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They can get the jump on TC, but
Lincoln's pre-pop by the Nature's Prophet ulti, very nice. The ulti is actually not used by TC just yet, so no one's going to get frozen but Bulba. He goes in, splits up the supports. EGM and Ake both go down, but TC is going to be dropping in the process. Carry traded for double support on the side of Alliance. I would actually say that's fine.
He took a long time to pop that ultimate. He was not stunned all the time. He was walking.
Yeah, he actually had time. As soon as he sees the Nature's Prophet ulti, I feel like he should just immediately ult.
No, but even after the lasso, like they got the lasso, he got away from the lasso, and before popping the ultimate, he just like started walking.
They're gonna go do Roche.
Yeah, and this Roche will go fast because when they get
EGM back,
he'll just pop the medallion.
And he can do it from high ground, so he doesn't even have to be inside of the pit. And just look at that minus armor.
Yeah, -7 armor for Roche. That's not even fair. The little big guy is melting.
Well, Familiars are going to scout things out and say, uh-oh, we can't actually do anything about this. And because they die so fast, He actually had the stun with him right away. So there's not going to be any way that Liquid can stop that Roshan. And this is really big. Alliance are doing a really good job at abusing the fact that they have dire advantage and more birds dying. But birds are dicks, so can we really feel bad for them?
It's fine. Right now, I think it all comes down to Koikva a little bit, because he had that off lane. He didn't have the most stellar of games, but again, you were against a tri lane, so the fact that he survived and it's 1-1-0, it's fine for him. But Liquid kind of need him to just start becoming a little bit more scary. Otherwise, it's one hero that doesn't bring that much into the fight.
Well, what can he do? That's kind of my question right now.
Just throw the chakram, jump,
just get in there,
YOLO.
Just do it all.
Yes.
The crazy thing about Alliance's lineup is that they actually have enough minus armor to completely negate reactive, because he's only got 1 point into it right now. So he's going to die just as fast as anyone else. And if you eat a full concoction, the stun lasts so long that there's a low likelihood that you're going to be living through it, unless you have somebody like Bulba to help you out with cogs.
Alliance's game plan is very smart.
Well, yeah, they see the clockwork right away and the timber saw, and the first thing that pops into their mind is, we don't want to take full-fledged engagements anymore. We just want to pick around a team that's going to be able to punish bad aggression and stopping 5-man from just steamrolling to our tier 3s at the 20-minute mark. Wow. And they've defended their towers very well, although truthfully so has Liquid. It's just that the more damage the Weaver gets, the more farm Bulldog gets, the harder it's going to be for those heroes to deal with that.
The thing is that I'm kind of gonna call it here. I think that Liquid's draft was not in spot, especially for the last pick Medusa. What you normally do, bad bounce. What you normally do is, like, the reason I don't like Lincoln's Weaver, she goes Lincoln. Look at that damage.
That's crazy.
Fluff loses half HP. EGM, he's going to get initiated on, but the cogs knock him out. They're not going to be able to kill EGM. Now they want to try to turn it around. S4 still has lasso if he wants to blink forward. I'm not really sure who he wants to go on. Lincoln's is still down on TC if that was going to be the target, but Liquid continuing to siege to tier 1.
I think this is going to fall.
Yeah, I don't think they want to defend this. Loda, the Aegis carrier, unfortunately is not around. Doesn't have a TP.
Dire's middle tower.
That's why they're not fighting. Loda does not have a TP, and Bulba, he's scouting things out on the Roshan pit. He's going to pop his haster and wants to go for EGM. Bulldog force stats him to the high ground. And
saved him.
S4 is going to not prevent forest fires and get his teammate to safety.
What I was saying is, when you get a Weaver, Weaver is one of those heroes that I hate because he needs so much to function. He needs a Lincoln, he needs another item, and then with the third item, he just kind of starts being this scary carry. When you pick a Medusa towards Weaver, you're pretty much saying, okay, we're going to go with a hero that does the same and just go into the late game and actually make your Weaver function. Even if our hero is stronger, you just get to the point where the Weaver is relevant in the game. Whereas with most other carries, normally the game is resolved by the time that the Weaver actually gets his second or third.
Who would you rather have seen them pick then? Someone who can be more relevant sooner with less items?
I mean, so many other carries, like Lifestealer was banned, but even a Gyrocopter kind of fulfills the same purpose of the Medusa in terms of...
and fights well, right?
And fights well, and fights early.
Oh, shot in. He's going to spot EGM. Again, the cogs throw him out. Ultimate's going to be popped. Chemical Rage regeneration doing some work. He gets force-staffed into a cast.
Oh, look at it go!
No, why didn't you look at it go? Alliance, they're going to lose 2. That force staff actually completely screwed them. That's pretty funny.
Look at it go.
They were actually being too nice to their teammates.
Yeah.
They're like, I want to say,
oh, no, you just killed us. But yeah, this is what
I told you it was going to happen.
Can't really happen. Yeah, that's true. You called it.
You did.
It's kind of like your item builds. And speaking of item builds, what do you go of as TC?
There's a Medusa versus a Weaver fight.
Well, he's building towards a Manta.
But maybe he just goes for the Yasha and waits for the Manta.
He could, yeah. He could sit on these items. He could... He needs a damage item, in my opinion. He needs to become some kind of physical threat where people are like, oh man, I really don't want to get hit by this guy. Because honestly, EGM as a support is quite tanky. When he pops Chemical Rage, especially now that it's level 2, he gets that bonus 75 health regeneration.
Yep.
And he's still got at least a couple of armor to his name. I'm assuming after he finishes that BKB, he's going to go for just armor so he doesn't die straight away. But no one's really scared of the Medusa right now, which is a point that you brought up earlier when we were comparing how much farm Weaver needs to a Medusa.
Right.
But the hero's functionality is completely different. So we're not looking for Loda to just go into team fights and wreak havoc like TC is supposed to do. But in the woods, S4 is going to spot out Fluff. Lasso's there, concoction to follow it, and it's going to be an easy kill.
But you
I don't think they can kill
Yeah,
though,
you can't chase a Timbersaw pretty well. The good news for Liquid is that the Aegis is going to run out. And I don't think they really accomplished much other than just giving Loda a little bit more free farm. At the same time, TC also got some. So even though the Medusa farms slower because she doesn't have a Hand of Midas, this trade is not the worst thing that could happen to Liquid. They still have their tier 1 towers. They only lost the first one, and now they seem to want to trade again. And here comes the Bulldog, and if he isn't careful, he might get hooked.
He does have a Force Staff though, although Bulba does as well. Whoever uses the Force Staff first, basically, is going to lose that engagement.
Starts the fight, right? And loses it.
Well, it was only Bulba pushing there, and on the other side, Alliance was pushing bottom. So there's no trade. There's just straight away.
As far as spots quick though,
well,
he's kind of just like
close, and he didn't have lasso, and he wasn't close enough.
I think that was just a cautious.
Oh, everyone's coming.
Cautious Firefly.
Bulba
Yeah,
has no mana.
He's on for a retreat. He's gonna Force Staff himself out of the Sprout.
Oh,
he'll be fine. He Force Staffs the Necro Warrior forward. I'm not really sure what the point of that was. Burn the rest of his mana.
That damage.
Oh.
Yeah, Fluff gets the last hit. Those things actually hurt quite a bit when you're support.
They do.
I think it's 300 when you kill the big netbook 3 creep.
600.
600, Jesus.
Not at level 1 and 2, but when it gets to 3, it's 600.
Ouchie.
So I think TC just got an item, because I saw the courier flying towards him.
Let's have a look.
He has 2,000 gold. I don't think he actually got anything.
Oh, might have been a TP. Yeah. I saw the courier going towards him.
Yeah, I think it was, because it's on cooldown, and typically people send TPs like right after they use them.
Him
Instead
and
of just buying 2.
5 CS apart. Well, now 4, so pretty close.
It is close, but again, the Weaver is going to ultimately win this battle in terms of the farm. I just feel as though Liquid, as soon as TC gets another completed item, which I guess in this case is just going to be the Manta, you have to start trying to fight more. You can't just sit back, because if the Weaver gets another item, he's already got Midas, Lincoln's, Desolator, and 3,500 gold at 27 minutes in. His split push is going to be really strong.
Yeah.
And God forbid if Loda and Bulldog are ever together and you guys get caught out of position once, because really that's all it's going to take. It's going to take one bad judgment call from Liquid, and they're going to lose like a tier 3 or a barracks, and then the game becomes a heck of a lot harder, even more difficult than it would be in a normal draft, because you're playing against a split push lineup.
And we were right here. Speaking of that, he has 4k gold, and I think at this point, but you're the guy that gets the item.
He's 100%.
You go for Daedalus straight away.
He could get away with it. That's the thing. Even though he lost his Aegis a while ago, I think going damage-oriented is still going to be better. However, I think that going MKB in this case would actually be a bit better, just because you're going against a hero who in all likelihood is going to make a butterfly at some point. And it's nice to just have it preemptively so you don't have to worry about building it up after you see the item come out.
Fair enough. But at the same time, do you think that might be just like a... like TC saying, well, thank you, like since you built an MKB, now I don't even have to build it.
Yeah, I'll build something else.
I don't think... because Butterfly is such an effective slot anyway. I mean, it's one of the most expensive items in the game, and it still gives you so much in terms of damage. And honestly, when you go phase, you don't have that great of attack speed, and you're not buying any other attack speed items. A Scotty doesn't really count because it only gives stats. It is, but it's only 26 agility and 15 attack speed, which, 41 attack speed is pretty hefty. I just feel like Butterfly is still always good on any agility hero. So, we'll see.
Of course.
I mean, this one is kind of speculative because there's a lot of choices that he could make here. And he's kind of hoarding his gold, so we're going to find out sometime soon.
Oh, they spot something. The Rocket sees S4 there.
Yeah, but it's really dangerous to try to go on this. And again, Loda's top. Loda doesn't really care about being in a team fight. He has a TP if necessary, so he can come to Roshan whenever. Yeah, and just look at the damage that he does.
Yeah, Jesus.
I mean, if they don't glyph, this tower just dies. And then they just glyph, and Loda says, yep, I'm going to time-lapse and run it. Or no, he didn't time-lapse. He's just really fast.
Shukuchi. Strong spell.
Strong ability.
So now, I mean, next time they go for
and then they react to top, and Bulldog's like, oh, hey, I'm just going to push bottom.
Awesome. I can do that, because no one's here now.
Is this the definition of Rat Doto, or do you think that that's a...
Well, it is technically, because it's just avoiding a real confrontation. The whole ideology behind the statement is that, oh, S4 goes in by himself, gets maledicted? I think he's fine, unless Sam hooks. Oh! So close.
That was almost beautiful.
Almost.
Shame.
Well, ifs and buts, man.
This is 13 kills in 30 minutes, as opposed to the games we had yesterday, where we had like
it was just
10 kills in
non-stop gaming. Yeah.
Just fight. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is kind of like more chess.
This is indeed. This is more chess-like. But I believe Alliance need this win.
Actually, if I were to say it this way, Liquid are playing checkers and Alliance are playing chess.
What a clever analogy.
Yeah. Oh. There's something going on top lane. Loda just goes away, and Loda is going for a butterfly himself, apparently. Unless he wants a Heaven's Halberd, which wouldn't be bad.
He's getting a butterfly.
But he's getting butterfly.
Yeah. Teleport coming in top?
Yeah, really I wanted to get the jump, but...
I'm actually a bit surprised that he's going butterfly. It's still a pretty good damage item. And
you just said that it was the most awesome item in the world.
It is really good for agility heroes. I'm not saying that it's not. I just think that going for the pure glass cannon would have served its purpose just as well. But if you already have a Desolator, I suppose it's fine if you want to go for butterfly. It's not like it's not a good damage item, it's just not an MKD.
So, I know there's the Force Staff or Push Stick. Was there ever a Pull Stick?
No.
No, but you have a Pull Titan now.
It's true. A Pull Spirit.
Pull Spirit, yeah. So that guy, and this is actually a really good trade for Liquid.
Yeah.
If they manage to do it properly, because it's S4 getting the push down there, which he managed to get.
The problem is, if this fight happens, they can start it whenever they want. But Loda actually doesn't want to fight at all. He's just going to Shikuchi bottom. I thought they would actually try to kind of pincer that because they had the heroes to do it. But instead, they're just going to push in 2 lanes simultaneously with S4 Bulldog top, Loda bottom. They have to commit somewhere. And
maybe they commit to Roshan.
Well, yeah, they could do that too. And if they get Rosh...
They were going to lose.
Okay, now here's the inherent problem with this. This Roshan is actually going to hurt them because they can't do it. If they do it, they're going to potentially lose top lane. And there is wards here, so they know that it's happening. So yeah, it's going to be a commitment on the top lane.
Oh no, Liquid!
And they don't have Glyph, they're going to just lose a Rax.
No,
they're losing a Rax.
Why are you losing a Rax for this?
Well, they're going for the range Rax, which isn't horrible. But yeah, this is kind of what we expected to happen. Bulldog is super dead, by the way. Oh, that cast bounce even hits S4. But yeah, it's going to be a kill on the ranged Rax. And the fight happening around Roshan as well. TC's trying to run down here. Ake is going to get frozen by the stone gaze. S4, he blinks in. Lasso's way too during the teleport. Going to cancel it. Going to be able to pick up yet another kill. And here comes Admiral Bulldog. He bought back into the game. It's a triple familiar stun. Is it going to be enough to let... Oh my god.
Wow.
No mana, and you die real fast on Medusa.
Now they can get this Roche easily.
Yeah, they didn't even kill it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, man. Like, when you make decisions like that, all it takes is one.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's just like, oh, man, this game suddenly just got really shitty.
And do you think that that's the pressure of that continual split push, knowing that they're not going to take a fight?
That's how you play.
That's Rat Dota, man.
Yeah.
That's how it works. 9-9, the score. However, it's a huge advantage for Alliance.
Commanding position.
10,000 gold. 10,000 experience. I'm not going to say it's doomed, but it looks really, really bad.
Yeah, it does.
For Liquid right now. And the only reason I'm not saying it's doomed is because they have Medusa. And Medusa can hold Mega Creeps for pretty much forever. But I don't know. And they have a Witch Doctor that's going Acceptor.
So do you think at this phase Alliance do take a fight just because they're in such a strong position? They've got the Aegis, why not?
Yeah,
I think they can, yeah.
I don't even think Liquid can defend this tier 3. They still don't have the glyph.
Yeah.
What a game. What a game. And this is kind of one of those anticlimactic moments where you're kind of like, man, that game looked pretty close for a while, and then all of a sudden one bad decision is made, and then the game just looks almost unwinnable for the other team. And that's what we were trying to convey during the draft. It's like, if you pick this style of lineup where you have to 5-man to win, then you need to do it at an early enough stage in the game where heroes like Weaver don't have enough damage to split push you down super hard.
Yeah.
And by the time they actually fully commit to something, they waited until Loda had a Butterfly, a Desolator, Linken's Treads, Midas. And by that time, he does so much damage. I mean, he wasn't even there, to be honest. But it's just like, just to say how much Alliance had in terms of farm and pushing potential at that point, that it was obviously not a great call because they didn't even get Roshan. But I think when you're in a pinch, it's really hard to make those calls.
They were like, well, we can do Roche and then go defend, even if we lose the tier 3 tower. Oh shit, we don't have Glyph. Oh shit, we don't have heroes that can actually do Roshan. Because our damage is kittens.
Yeah.
It really is.
So, yeah. Bulba gets spotted.
He's going to spot Bulldog. Bulldog's got that Force Staff. He's just going to wait it out. Bulba not cogging straight away. Necro going to be popped from Bulldog as well. And they're going to Nature's Prophet ulti. I don't think they try to turn it around because Alliance are actually inside of Liquid space. They're going to find TC. Freezing Field comes out. He's not even Stone Gaze yet. He's going to barely get a chance to use it before he dies. Pops the Manta. Now he wants to try to turn it around. Loda, he's taking some damage, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Bulba goes in. Wow. He just goes team and then dies horribly. And here come the rest of Alliance. Fluff, he's going to eat the concoction. Medallion there as well, just to increase the damage a little bit more. It's probably going to be a melee Rax, potentially even the GG.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if they didn't. I mean, what's their way out of this?
I don't think really there is one.
No.
And this is what we're talking about when we see lineups that have no alternative other than one particular strategy. It's like, we want to play 5-man Dota. If our 5-man Dota fails, we lose.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do that against a team that's amazing at split push.
That was a really classy performance from Alliance.
It was.
I think that this is probably not the most exciting game ever, obviously, because there's only 20 kills in a 37-minute game, but it's one of the more solidly executed game plans that I've seen out of Alliance so far.
Also, this was more the Alliance that we saw earlier in the tournament was not performing. This was more like the kind of thing that I expected them to do.
Yeah.
At the same time, one would consider that maybe Liquid let them do this.
They did. They saw Nature's Prophet straight away, and then they saw the Alchemist, and maybe it was just a really solid draft from Alliance, kind of baiting them out. We're going to see S4 blink in with BKB, and hookshot onto EGM. Lasso's going to be there on Fluff of all people, and he just gets disintegrated by Loda. That Desolator damage proving to be a little bit too strong for the poor Witch Doctor. But I agree, they did kind of let him do it. But the thing that was ingenious about it is you see the Alchemist, and honestly, Alliance have not done support Alchemist that much.
No.
So it could have been very easy to get baited into that, oh, this is a Loda hero, because it really is.
Yeah.
And then they just like, you know what would be really good against Medusa and a team who can only 5-man? Split push.
Weaver.
Yeah, and then they pick Weaver, and then they have two great split pushing heroes.
Egum, you're gonna get stunned, Egum. No, please, no.
He's actually really tanky.
He is.
He's got 1,700 health.
And 20 armor.
Yeah, he's picked up that plate
health
mail.
regen.
Yep.
It is ridiculous. I hadn't played Alchemist much, and then I started playing him a lot, and he's crazy fun.
You know what's funny is people interpreted the Chemical Rage change as a nerf, but honestly, once you get past a certain point, it's a buff.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that they really nerfed was the early game burst survivability, which kind of made him a bit silly because he had something like 1,300 health with no stat items at all.
Right.
But now, once you get to this stage, another lasso. On to way 2, BKB, Popeye S4, Bulldog just teleports inside of the chase. Doesn't even care. Poor Chicken Medusa. Gonna see Bulldog drop, and Sam just gets completely obliterated. Loda going to town right now on Liquid. Freezing Field's gonna be popped. Loda gets frozen as well by the Stone Gaze. Quakeful walks in and says, wait a minute, I can't actually do damage to you. And he misses the Timber Chain. Flame Break is there. Loda gets the last hit. It's an ultra kill for him. Alliance, they're going to take the first game of the day. They've got 2 more to play so far, and it is the last day of the, we'll say, group stage.
Yep. It's a great way to start, isn't it?
League thing.
Well, that's a great way to kick off if you're Alliance.
Yep.
Yeah, and not a great, Jesus, English is so hard. Not a great way to end if you're Liquid, unfortunately, but they will end, I think, 7-3 or 6-4? Probably 6-4.
I think 6-4.
Could be, yeah.
6-4, and 6-4 puts them at the same position that Navi can end, and we'll see the standings in a minute, but first, before going into the standings, you have an amazing man here.
How amazing?
To my left, called Andy, which is going to introduce James.
Welcome back, James.
Hey.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruno. Really nice game by Alliance, even though a lack of kills, decision-wise, they were on point with everything. Like, even Admiral Bulldog just saying, like, I need a Force Staff, because basically if Bulba can get kills, that's how they're going to be able to keep us down.
Yeah.
And Bulba was crucial for them to initiate and actually start the fights. And just having a couple of Force Staffs, they kind of took Bulba out of the game. And then S4 didn't get any weaker because he's a Batrider with a blink. With a Force Staff, he can initiate where he wants to. And Loda, wow, he just out-farmed a Medusa pretty easily.
Yeah. Although I'm not sure if that's a wow moment. Wow, he out-farmed the other carry.
Well, okay, the Medusa was not contested whatsoever.
Yeah, and the Weaver was not contested whatsoever.
Yeah, and then the Weaver was just a whole item ahead.
The power of Midas, man.
By the time he went, he TP'd down to bot lane, and that was the first time they met. And it was like they'd only just both finished their Lincolns. By the time Loda got down there, he had 1.8k gold. And TC had his Lincolns with about 600 gold. By the time TC was up to like 1.5, the 1.8 turned into a Deso.
Yep.
So it was just like, he just got ahead like by the Lincolns and just went crazy. So in terms of farm, I wasn't too sure about the butterfly, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So that's what we'll do. We'll come back, we'll do the post-game analysis, and then we've got our next match, which is going to be Na'Vi against Alliance.
Cool.
So it should be a good one. See you after the break.
Hi, I'm AP and I want to explain to you why the Kone XTD is my perfect choice for gaming Dota 2. With the 8200 DPI Pro Aim R3 laser sensor and the TDCU, it ensures maximum precision for farming your lane or hitting crucial skill shots. In addition, I combine timers for Roshan or even cooldowns by using Easy Shift, which adds a secondary function to each button.